passionate,
But
probably.
he's
One person is.
very
Oh, they are?
qualified, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'd hate for someone else to go on that didn't know what he knew.
We're ready.
I'm like,
I'm not doing it until 4 o'clock.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't,
Because
thought it
I-
was, I never looked at the time.
I
I just thought you were ready because it was time.
He went to, where you going, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've been over Eagle, so.
I've never known.
If you want Crafts Fair.
Yeah, I
so-
like to go to Grass.
What, before the day, instead of before?
Today is Tuesday, October the 21st of 2025. It is 4 o'clock. It is the Parks Commission meeting. Could you call the roll, please?
Sure. We have Bobby Price.
Here.
Jennifer Travis.
Here.
Win Martin.
Here.
Cinda Bell. And Otis Edwards. We have a quorum.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Price.
Yes.
Ms. Travis.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Bell.
Yes.
Mr. Edwards.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
All right. Committee reports. Freedom Fest Committee. Trails Committee, nothing to report. Tree Committee,
Nothing to report?
Recreation Committee.
Nothing at this time.
All right. Do I have any items that need to be added to the agenda? Casey? They're already on the agenda?
Do you want to, discuss Bell Loop, Bell Park Loop Trail, or what, right now?
Well,
Well,
can we have a motion to add a discussion of the Bell Loop Trail from Crafton Toll?
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Civil engineering firm.
We have a motion and a second.
Ms. Price.
Yes.
Ms. Travis.
Yes.
Ms. Gwen.
Yes.
Ms. Cinda.
Yes.
Mr. Edwards.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Financial update.
I'm gonna make this really quick, in that, we're gonna have a budget discussion as an agenda item. So I just wanted, you have briefly, the financials were sent to you, or they're in your possession now, and you've had a chance to look through them. One of the things I do wanna point out is that we went ahead and now are listing on your restricted funds, the, Michael Lejeune City Lake Trail sign. Back in 2023, there was, some monies that was collected through donations. Those monies were not being reported, they're on the balance sheet. And what I'm trying to do is focus you on the fact that there's $2,690 there that has been collected, and it's gonna remain there until such time as the decision is made as to what to do with those funds, even though it has been restricted by resolution from the city council for that purpose, the Lejeune City Lake Trail sign. So that's something for you to decide or discuss for current time and for future budgeting. And that, I just wanted you to know when it happened, and now it's being shown to you on the restricted funds. These are now all of your accounts that you have actual control over. And so the first thing to point out was that your balance as of 9/30 is $458,000. That's a 36.12% decrease from what you started with. Mostly it's coming from events such as the CSUT All Parks amount that had dropped significantly. And there's some other things that were involved in the splash pad checking. We started at 480,000. Right now, there's 115,225 remaining. That's good news, and the fact that if no other bills come in between now and the end of the year, that's gonna drop into the city sales and use tax, basically giving you that money back. Right now, your budget for 2025 is 300, all in, these funds were all in at 319,000, so you're 30.23% above where the budget is asking you to be, or where you were predicting it to be by the end of the year. So, just wanted you to know that the amount that's sitting here at 190 as of 9/30 has a potential of pickup of 115,000, because you already moved around $500,000 city sales and use tax. It's just the money that will be residual going back that was saved on the project. As far as what was reported to the city council for the third quarter financials, this is just giving you a little look at all of those accounts that are virtual accounts. They're not accounts that are actually in the bank. These are accounts that are within the general fund that you have control over those specific purposes by resolution. So they were shown the 2025 beginning balances for each of those. Here's your 9-month revenues that went into those accounts. This is a 9-month expense that came out, and whether you're experiencing a surplus or a deficit in those, in other words, a savings or an overspend. And then the 9/30 ending fund balance, which ties to where we are and where we stood as of the end of the third quarter. 2025's budget surplus deficit would be what you predicted those accounts to be. Like I said, the $345,000, that's for the splash pad. We projected $487,000, and that's where the $115,000 is coming into play. Your ending fund balances, as was projected by the actual ending budget for 2025, you see, and we discussed where those were and how that ended up being there. So the budget is just a guesstimation for what those are based on some calculated expenditures and predicted revenue streams. And that's where we stood. Now, you'll also notice that the Luzon sign is also now in there. And before we move into the budget, which we'll start next, I'll show you that these are the funds you actually have ultimate and absolute control over. It's the purposes for those by resolution. The Parks Department, however, is your operating department, and this is what you technically don't have control over. You have control over the expenditures that go in there in the revenue streams. The revenue stream for that is 90% made up of your county sales tax revenues. That's that first line that you have there, and I show you that revenue because that's dictated to you by the city council. That's apportioned to you, but based on a percentage of the county sales tax. All of the O&M departments for the city, for the general fund, is apportioned the amount of a percentage-wise from the from the county sales tax. Yours is about 9%, I think it is, right? Yeah, so that's your $240,000 that was budgeted. You're gonna be budgeting flat this year. All departments are gonna be budgeting whatever we have collected this year. That's what we're gonna go ahead and budget for next year. As far as where you stood as of, right, basically through September 9/30, you were 30,000 over, you had a deficit of 30,000 from your revenue stream. You had 28,000 for September budgeted. Your revenues came in at 58,000. For the year, 241,000 is your revenue collected for 9 months. Your expenditures for 9 months was 258,000 or 16,000 deficit. And interestingly enough, the budget that you had was 19,000 for the entire year. So you're still faring about where you were approved to spend to. So you had an approved deficit of 19,186, and you're about $3,000 off of that, or $2,500 off. I think at your current spend and your current revenue streams, you probably will be right on that number. So those are what you control, and I'll save the rest for the presentation or the discussion on your budget for 26.
Are there any questions? The next thing on the agenda is I'm moving, if it's all right, can I move
Yeah.
Roberta?
If there's no objections?
Is there no objections?
Mhm.
All right, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we're addressing the comments we got back from RDOT, and we should be able to submit final plans next week with the resale on the Bell Park Loop Trail.
Okay, so what were the comments? I'm
Yeah, there really wasn't any comments, we're just giving an update on
So,
There is a kind of a discussion, I don't know if it's been ironed out, about the easement for the home's erection, or, you know, same person, but, if we're gonna be granting an easement or anything on that, or, you know, where any of that stands, or, have you heard anything about that?
Casey,
Have not heard from him.
are you talking to the homeowner, or are we talking with with the city attorney?
They own an entire piece, they're a development company, so
Mhm.
they own multiple, I mean, I don't know the exact, but it's a large portion of land. But we've been going back and forth with her.
Okay,
She's extremely difficult to communicate with.
okay. So,
I know that, like, well, me and Craft and Phil have been working with her, and just getting a hold of her is extremely complicated.
okay.
Who is it?
Patty Hall, Patty, Wilford, is that right?
I'm not for sure, I just know it's the home's property,
So, for clarification purposes,
yes.
once you've been working with RDOT, they approved this, and we can get the easements
Yes.
and everything, we're good to go?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, do we have a cost, kind of?
That's what I was getting right now.
Okay.
Hold on 1 minute, maybe.
So Homes Erection hasn't necessarily said no, we're just trying to get a hold of them to get the answer at this point, or
We're talking about the other side.
what's-
coming up the backside.
so like, as far as the easement goes from Homes, like they haven't said no, we're not gonna provide it, it's just we can't get a hold of the right person to get the permission.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Trying to pay it?
More or less the same, we're not gonna provide it.
Gotcha.
That's the last I heard.
So if they don't provide it, would we get our city attorney involved?
It would likely be an eminent domain. So, this property has not had, the trail has not had an easement since it was created. So it's been basically an established trail through their property for nearly 10 years. So part of me wonders if there's some type of legal precedent where we have some serious grounds to take what we've been using for the past 10 years. It's just a matter of asking. I wanted to give her the opportunity to pursue things a little bit more amicably, to actually give us the easement before I try to force her hand, because that's when things would turn south.
How long has she owned the property?
I don't know that specifically.
I mean, was it before the trail was in existence? Okay.
Casey, just so I can be clear, are we talking about the trail actually all the way through the Oaks?
So this specific project will start where it turns gravel.
Right, so, but do we have easement for everything through the Oaks, where it is currently paved?
That I don't know. I know that leading up to, we do have an easement, with Mr. Van Gorder. And the rest of the property from Van Gorder to where it's gravel is actually sitting on the property.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking, the Oaks was all Holmes property to begin with. I know that it's been kind of split off, some of it at some point, and I don't, he was so good to work with us initially that I would be surprised if we didn't have an easement in place for that part of it. That's what I was just concerned
I
about.
know that Craft did quite a bit of research, on the back end.
Yeah.
And they actually gave us the legal descriptions. So I think that work has been done, and these specific parcels do not have easements.
Easements. But they're on the gravel area.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
See, it's the area north and kind of west of where the Oaks is
Right.
right now.
So when you went from the point of gravel to all the way to the other trailhead of Bell Park, that's that whole stretch that the study was done on and then this was revealed?
0 easements, yeah. I mean, Cinda.
Oh, no easements ever through
No,
there?
Cinda didn't have an easement through
Okay.
the property
Do you have a diagram? I'm a visual learner.
Yeah, I can email you a plat.
Yep, that'd be great.
The cost?
Cost right now estimated $1.6 million. That could go up, if, that could go up if, RDOT's requesting handrails along the downslope side of the trail where we're exceeding the side slope grade of, it's gonna be steeper than, it's gonna be like a 2-to-1. Okay, and RDOT's recommending handrail all along that area. I do not know how many feet that's gonna be or how much cost that's gonna add to it, but I'm getting from my supervisor that it's gonna be expensive, more expensive. Right now, the trail is 1.6.
So I use a bunch of trails and I have yet to ever seen one that had a handrail on it due to steepness. Like, why is it all of a sudden this?
Like, cause it's paved.
That's one of the remarks that come back from RDOT.
Is it a grant-related requirement?
ADA.
We talked on a call the other day about trying to reduce some of the distance between the trail and the ground where those handrails were needed. And they said that might make it, just have to be a letter of request.
We're trying to get those addressed this week.
What's the lifespan of that trail after you pave it, since it has such a slope? I imagine a bunch of water runoff. I mean, is that 5-year, 15-year, 30-year?
I don't know, it's, I can't answer that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the lifespan of it would be. But we are, some of the drainage is coming off of it, off the side of the mountain.
Yep.
And flowing across it.
Mhm.
So I don't know how that's gonna affect the lifetime of it.
Do you have plans to put drains underneath it, or, I mean, to kind of redirect some of that? Because some of the places along that trail, there's washout, and, I mean, it's,
Yeah,
I mean-
it's like you would need ditches and
yeah.
drains to go underneath.
Mm.
Is it engineered already?
Yeah, it's been engineered, we haven't completed all that, but
And this is concrete, or is it
it's
asphalt?
asphalt.
Okay.
Is there a plan set?
Yeah, we do, we don't have it with us.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, there is a plan set. We could get that to y'all. That's all I can really
Okay.
comment on about firsthand and everything.
Hey Casey, like, as is being soft surface, how many hours a year do you think your guys spent on maintaining that?
Very little this year because we were anticipating gravel, or we were anticipating paving. This week, we're actually going in and repairing some of the areas. They've already got gravel on certain portions of it, and they're about to start backing up trucks down it to get it, maintained.
Clarification on the grant, how much is our grant for?
So the intention would be to combine the two, RDAP grants that we have. One is for 250, and the other is for 126,000, and they're 80/20 matches.
One is 250 and one is
26.
126?
I don't think so.
That math don't math.
Oh, this is the first I've heard their price.
Yeah, that
I was
math
told
don't
their
math.
price before they came here.
All right.
Yeah.
So All right, is there anything else that you feel like we need to be aware of, or anything that you need to share?
Not right now. My supervisor is out on, he's in Arizona. Be back next week.
Okay.
Maybe I can have him get a hold of Casey and we go over what needs to be finalized here.
Could I have your names for the record?
Yes, my name is Jimmy Atkins.
Jimmy Atkins,
Leighton Harrelson.
Leighton,
Yes, ma'am.
and Harrelson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any other questions?
I'm just curious, how wide would that be when you guys, is that gonna be like,
We're widening it out, wider than what the existing is out there. Because of RDOT's.
so that's an RDOT requirement?
I think it's 10 foot.
Okay. That's pretty wide for a walking trail.
So that's an RDOT requirement, correct?
That was my understanding, yes.
Okay.
Can you confirm that, Casey? That it has to be 10 feet?
They've asked for variances to 8 foot in the center.
Okay.
The gravel shoulders were also 2 feet on each side. They've also asked if they reduce some of the gravel on each side so that those areas are a little more passable where it's kind of slippery throughout.
That is a lot of information. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And everything. If there's anything else that y'all would like to share? Okay. Do we have any other questions?
Nope.
Hey, thank you so much for coming and
You're welcome.
sharing that with us.
Mm.
It's an interesting project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's tough.
yeah, it has been,
Yeah.
we've been working on it for a while.
Let me ask you this before I let you leave. Is there abilities to break it up into smaller portions? Construction like
Phases?
phases instead? Or does it really need to be done it all at one time?
Right, no, I don't think so, but I mean, it'd just be gravel the rest of the way where we stop. Well, that RDOT, I do not know, RDOT may want it done all the way, but
Okay,
that's kind of, my supervisor, he's the one talking with RDOT about it.
okay. All right. But your supervisor will reach out to Casey and they can kind of
Right.
talk about that. All right. Hey, thank you guys. We appreciate you and everything. All right. The next item on the agenda. Yes, you get to go. Unless you want to stay for all the night.
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't normally have an audience. That's great.
The director, the Ed Wilkinson Pavilion plaque discussion. The Ed Wilkinson Pavilion plaque discussion.
We talked about this, I guess this can kind of dovetail into the budget discussion as well. We talked about including that in our budget for next year. And the mayor's not here again, I think that's also why we tabled it. Just wanted to see what the thought was on having the plaque. I think you can probably weigh in on it too. The plaque at the pavilion, the reasons why there wasn't one, so you can send it right. I just wanted to open it up for discussion and see if it was something we wanted to include in the budget for next year, the plaque in the pavilion.
Did this maybe come up when AML planning meeting happened and there was no identification in it? I figured that's probably what prompted it.
I know there's reasons, whenever Municipal League had the meeting at the pavilion, they kind of wanted to know and understand what the history of the building was. And there was nothing on the side of the building that told them. Like, that's just a really traditional thing to have a plaque on a building that's that nice. So the mayor approached me and asked if I would ask. I'm just trying to see if we want to put one up there or not.
I think it's long past due,
Yeah.
and I think we need to address it.
What would be the approximate cost?
3,000 bucks is
Okay.
approximate, I think.
Is that what we're spending on the splash pad one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I mean, is there an option for a cheaper one that can be mounted inside that doesn't have to be weather?
Sure, I mean,
It could
I
probably
could
cut the
get
half.
like
cut in half.
a really nice, it could be aluminum or fancy plastic, polymer, however we wanted to put it together, I could present options if we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you get
Do you
some
think-
pricing and design too for us?
Do you think it would be just a list of whoever was in there at the time, or just the city council and?
Y'all,
Traditionally, it is city council, parks director, mayor,
Elected official.
The elected
the
officials.
elected officials on there. Any parks, would there have been a parks department at that time?
Or commission.
When the
Think-
parks commission?
We were talking about that earlier, and I'm not sure when there was a Parks Committee for sure involved, but I don't know that it was commissioned yet. I don't remember exactly what the date on the commission is.
This commission was established in 2012, I think.
Well, I wanna think the
And it was
pavilion was,
built before.
well, I saw something, I wanna say,
You know when it
you
was
may be
built?
right.
I would,
It's probably about the same time.
I want to follow protocol, so no one gets their feelings hurt and everything. And everything. So, kinda give us options, can you
Okay.
give us, and that might be a little bit of research to finding out, just to make sure that everybody who had participation, I don't know, whatever else, grants or anything like that, I don't know whatever all goes on that.
So I can,
But
yeah, I
let's
can
make
do
sure
that.
that I don't want to offend,
Yeah, I can do all that.
anybody on that.
Okay, I guess I'm in the minority, but I'll go ahead and speak up. It seems like our budget is already tight for this coming year as it is, and I wouldn't think that the plaque would be a priority. Okay, secondly, if we put a plaque on a nice building, it shouldn't be a cheap plaque. So, in my opinion, you wait till you can afford a nice plaque to put on the building. But I'll let the
I agree with that.
majority rule.
I agree with that as well.
In the interim, just print something off and put it in a page protector and just.
Coming soon.
Yeah, not opposed.
I mean, I'm in agreement with that. Doesn't seem like we have the budget to be spending on a placard that we're not even really sure who else needs to be on it at this point.
I will get the info together, and if we come into a $3,000 windfall, we'll be ready.
We'll be ready.
Yes.
Perhaps this could come from whomever brought the suggestion. Would that be the mayor's budget?
You want me to grab it from the general fund?
That'd be great.
I feel like that's a
Let it ride.
major.
Flush fund over there.
Just for the record, the committee was established in '06, so there was a committee at the time, and it looks like the 2012 was the commission, when that came into being, 6 years later.
And do you know when the building was actually built?
I thought it was 13, wasn't it?
That's what I have in my mind, but I'm trying to find something that'll tell me. I
You need a
can't find
picture.
it right now.
I think there was a commission at the time.
Okay.
I mean, I can dig in records and find out when it was completed. In the minutes, we'll reveal who was in there at the time.
So I got,
Thank you.
Term renewals for Brandon Tate and Bobby Price, we expire this month.
You're expiring.
So,
Already.
not in the life sense.
so the way that I understand the process goes, Bobby, would you like to continue another 3-year
Yes.
term? Okay. I would like to take another 3 years term. So do we have a
Motion
motion
to accept that.
to accept those?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Travis?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Yes. Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Unanimous.
I'm glad I didn't.
I will take that on to
glad
the
it didn't
city
get
council
awkward.
for
Someone said no.
confirmation. That's all the next step is.
So, it will have to go before the city council, of course. Okay, the third or fourth item on the agenda is the budget.
So we had a couple action items from our Specifically, with the way things are right now, I think we'd just be best served to choose zero merit increases and, let council decide what our cost of living increases would be. I think that's just the way things are right now. It's probably the best choice for the benefit of the city and our department. Tom and I dug a little bit, or Tom's helped me dig a little bit. We found upright speed DSL and phone lines that we've been paying for who knows how long. It's $235 a month, so it saves us $2,800. This would be part of that $19,000 plus that general fund is gonna have to pick up. Unfortunately, some of these utility bills I don't see, so I don't get paid these bills, they're just paid from the finance department. I think with this, it might be a good idea for us to go through and maybe audit what we are paying, just to be 100% they're ours. So that's $2,800 we saved, we're probably closer to the 16 and some change, $17,000 mark. I'm sure you're gonna address some of the city sales and use covering. That's all I've got concerning the budget. I think our action items, we're trying to go down that 19,000. And then, the salaries, the merit increases being zero.
And with that, that's still, your guys still keep their own, the cell phones, right?
Yep.
With that reduction? Would they be opposed of just like getting like a $30 a month stipend and use their own phones to cut that a little bit more?
We do that in the, I think we do that.
And there's a legal issue with that in communications, because anything that would be FOIA or needed to be subpoenaed would be their personal phones, and they would probably not wanna do that.
And they would have the option to object out of it, but
Well, then you have no way of communicating with them other than.
no, you provide them a phone, but they wouldn't get the extra $30 a month, whatever it is.
They'll both opt for the city phone. Of course they would.
I mean,
Well, it's worth the ask. I mean,
because it's roughly $100 a person, so.
yeah.
I mean,
Or my desk,
if you,
$30 a month.
I mean, I'm just throwing out a number, like at my place, it's like 40, I think. If you wanna use a company phone, obviously you don't get that, but if you opt out of it, you can use your personal and just get extra $40 a month.
I mean, yeah, they would just be subject to FOIA. That's a lot of personal stuff that can be FOIA. But I can't tell you the last time I saw a FOIA request for someone that was,
Parks maintenance.
Parks Department.
Which I understand this is city government, so it's a little bit different than a private corporation, but
maybe it's a good question we could ask too.
It's definitely a discussion that could be had. I think it might need to be included in our personnel policy type stuff, because uniform reimbursements, those kind of things, and they have to go through payroll when they're like that, because they're, a tax item then,
Yeah.
because it's income.
yeah.
So we'd need to explore that too. Everything's gotta be hard.
Yeah.
Just,
I don't know, whenever I was an hourly guy that had a work phone and I was not on call, I liked having the work phone because I could turn it off. And it'd be completely separate. So
I
whenever I
appreciate
got
you
home.
pitching pennies, but that is pitching pennies compared to where you are on your budget. But I have a better idea
Please
that would
share.
help the balancing the budget on the general fund side.
Those are the two things I had. You can go ahead.
You did not have your, part-time person in your budget? Okay, so the discussion about that 19,000, I can't pull anything out of that for that third person because it never was in the actual budget. So just FYI. Okay, so let me show you what was presented to the city council at the last budget review meeting, which was last Wednesday, a week and a day. All right. So, this is what your budget was up until we just had this discussion, and I'm gonna show you some suggestions of what is happening and the dynamics in play. The balanced budget means that not these accounts right here, these are the ones I just showed you, you control, and you're not gonna overspend those. You're either gonna get to zero, or you're gonna have to finance or do something in order to do something on these projects. For instance, if you wanted to go ahead and do a City Lake sign and it costs you $10,000, you gotta find out how you're gonna get it. You're either gonna have to raise that money, or you have to borrow that money. And that would require the city council because you're encumbering the city. However, that's how you would raise that. This money right up here is the general fund's, unrestricted monies that they've apportioned to you as a Parks Commission for your operations, county sales tax to cover that. So you can either go approach them to get more of the pie in order to offset that, because that amount that you're getting right now isn't enough. I will be having a discussion with them during our hard conversations regarding the budget, as soon as I know what the general and admin's budget is gonna come at us with, or come at that fund with, as far as their surplus is concerned. But there's two items on the county sales tax side that's pre-distribution. And that's something we could consider, because one of it is the Boys and Girls Club, and they're being paid out of the county sales tax before any distribution goes below that to the departments. That distribution also includes a lot fee distribution, which really benefits only fire and police. And we could be looking at that distribution without any pre-distribution amount, and we could say, we could throw another almost $100,000 into that pot to be distributed with your percentages to all of the individual departments. That's a proposition that they could entertain. It's totally their decision and their control. We used to, based on the historical that I looked at, there's a line item in that pre-distribution for the senior center, for the retirement senior center activity. That was pulled, and now that's totally on the general fund under contract. Well, we now have a contract with the Boys and Girls Club too, so why is it county sales tax for them? And so we'll have that discussion. I'd love to hear their thought on that. That's one way you could generate some additional revenue to offset some of this. However, you and fire both have city sales and use tax. All the other departments don't. So I went and looked at, and I'll share it with you here. By the way, I want you to remember this. They were given this. This is the state law. It prohibits deficit spending. And that's what we've been doing for years, but we've been covering it with the amount of money that we have tucked away in the unrestricted general fund. We just said, okay, you're overspending, so we'll pull the money out of there, and that's how we balance the budget. The budget is balanced every year, but it's balanced with money in the unrestricted fund to cover your deficit spendings. It's never a good practice to do that. A balanced budget, this says, in short, a municipality generally cannot spend funds it doesn't have, and it also goes on to say, or promise future funds that it does not currently have budgeted. You can't say, well, we're gonna go ahead and budget it, and we hope that the county sales tax rises. And we're hoping that, it's gonna get much higher than we anticipated, and we're gonna budget flat, but maybe those funds will come in. That, you can't do that either. You can't hedge a little bit on your budget for future tax collections. So I wanted to show you where we are as of 9:30, or in this case, this was what I presented to them. The amount that we're looking at right now for what was presented to the city council, and it showed the Parks Department currently at $35,222. You see that this is fluid because this changes with revenue that comes in and expenses that you actually incur. So since that time, I showed you the city financials. This is as of now, $35,222. the unassigned general fund, if we were to stop operation right now, would be 1,000,001. And we have a contingency established, a threshold established at 1,000,000. So if we carried that over and we look at what's budgeted right now, and this 249,000, that's a 25 number. That's the current budget number that I just carried over for a placeholder because I don't have their budget. So if that were to happen, the general fund, that $1,000,000 contingency that we established for the general fund would drop to 289,000. We would be depleting $867,000 out of the 1.15 million. In order for us to have a balanced budget, that general and admin surplus, which would be this number right here, would have to be $1.11 million. Not happening. Guarantee they're not gonna come to us with a budget that's gonna say, we're gonna cover all of it for 1.1 million, we're gonna generate that surplus. Something's gotta give. That's a 74% decline in our actual, general fund unrestricted. Even if we made that and we did the best we could, and that budget was off by 50%, you're still reducing it below, almost to the point of it being about $750,000 instead of $1 million. So that's, I'm just saying, you're a small player in this number because your budget right now, it stands at 19,000. So I looked at what your history has been. The Parks Department budgeted a 6,000, this is 24, budgeted 6,007, and we came in at 25,000 deficit. In 2025, we budgeted a 19,000 deficit, and we're coming in right now 35,222. But that number's fluid, that will change. And now next year, you're budgeting a 19,000. There's nothing that indicates that you won't come in at that if you're allowed to. We had that same conversation with this 890,000 on the police department. As he said in the city council meeting, you guys approved me to have that deficit. You guys, meaning city council, and they did. That's the budget. That's the amount of budget that they were allowed to, it's in their budget, to spend $890,000 above their revenue stream. And look where they are. That's their right now deficit. So I can't fault them because he's right. That statement is 100% correct. And you were allowed to go negative 19, and you're right now, as I showed you on 9/30, you were 16. Now you're 35, but that number's gonna change because of not all the revenue's in yet. Revenue comes in at different times, so. So what I'm trying to get to is, we showed you a contingency calculation, and the contingency calculation by the guidelines would be about a $200,000, because I pulled A&P out of this, because that's not what those monies are for. That's more restricted for events. So if you just took the parks and city sales and use tax to come up with an annual budget and take average monthly expense, your 2 months annual expense would be estimated at $188,000. So I would round that to about $200,000. That's if we do it individual departments. But the real suggestion would be we don't do it by departments. We do it by all of the departments or cost centers, as I like to refer to them, within that unrestricted general fund. These are the O&Ms for all of the general unrestricted. We would do all of their budgets, and I've got the number for 25 in there. That's the actual budget for expenses for the general and admin department. So you're looking at 6.3 million. That would be 527,000 per month average. And that means you're right at $1 million, which is the number that I've been pushing for years. That number cannot go below that 1 million. That's the contingency. That has an incredible impact on S&P ratings for our bonding and our debt, because they want to know what our contingency is.
So that's why it's $1 million?
$1 million is what I said, but the actual strategic calculation, I just don't pull that in a crowd if I have.
I mean, I was wondering where it came from, so that makes
that's
sense.
That's the general accepted standard.
Okay.
So the recommended contingency based on, that number's gonna grow as our
Population,
expenses
yeah.
grow. So we're at a contingency recommendation that I would make of 1.125 million. So we can't drop it to 200 because we have no contingency, and that will not fare well on the next ratings call at all.
How often does that happen? The
We have
call?
ratings calls about every other year.
Every,
Yeah, but they could have it, they can call it anytime they want. They see a trend, and they're looking at our numbers. They look at our audit. We have to send it to them. And when they look at those numbers, they could go, and I guarantee you, when they talk to us, they already know the answers. They wanna know what our take on it is, but they grill you. And for purposes, man, they're looking at, that's investors' monies, and they wanna know how to rate those so investors don't put something in a high-risk, investment for them.
Okay. So ultimately, though, we have no control over how much the police spend. So we're focused on this 16,000 or 19,000. So we need to look through here and try to find some ways to cut that. Is that our task?
Right, but let me show you what I wanna, so this is the guideline for how you should do your, municipalities should do their budgeting. You assess current revenue sources, which we've done, and we've identified current and future economic trends. You're seeing that economic trend every financial report. Review and prioritize the essential services and first allocate funds to those essential services. So you look at your budgets on all of your, even your, at this point, I'm only looking at the department, and you allocate money to operate effectively and efficiently first, and then you look at your needs and wants. Everything else tails down to a want. So like that third person, do you actually need a part-time person or another add-on, another half or full-time equivalent? If you don't need it, then that's where you probably would drop, and that's what he did. Exactly what he did is this. And then you implement cost-saving measures wherever possible, but I want to caution departments not to cut just to cut. You don't want to undermine the quality and level of expected goods and services to the citizens. So you have to keep that in mind. Engage the community, which you can talk to, you guys, talk to the people that you know. What do you think the Parks Department's priorities should be? Find out. You're the ones that are representing them. So find that out, and now hold that in your thought process when budget conversations come up. Monitor expenditures, you do that, and explore grants. He does a great job on that. Matter of fact, Parks has always done really good in grants. So you're already doing a lot of that. So I looked at section 5 of the city sales and use tax ordinance because it's been a topic of discussion right now. And it reads this way: parks and recreational purposes is what section 5 says that tax is for. It includes particularly without limitation acquiring, constructing, improving, expanding, equipping, furnishing, operating, and all the costs that go with operating, and maintaining new or existing park and recreational facilities. So you just don't build a pavilion and then throw all the cost to operate it over to the general O&M. And Steve Tedford even made that comment at the last city council meeting when he said, you have to consider your city sales and use tax to be able to manage and operate the park, or to maintain the park. And it's maintained with the tax dollars you collect. Including, it says, parking, landscaping, signage, drainage, trails, bike trails, lighting, concessions, road and utility improvements related thereto or in support thereof. And it shall, only thing it's prohibiting is it can't be used for the payment of salaries and wages and or salaries and wages related. So we wouldn't want to say the retirement program should be paid by city sales and use tax. No. So it's salaries, wages, and related costs to that, which basically says we should be looking at your budget right now, and we should be thinking about what is to be permanently moved as an expense covered under your city sales and use tax to relieve that. If I did right now, and I'll show you how I calculated this, but that 19,000, I could move about 28,000 of it and generate a surplus of 8,000 just by shifting 28,000 more money over to your city sales and use tax. And you have room for it to be there, but it belongs there based on that taxing document. And And I'm doing the same thing for fire. Don't think they're getting away with this either. The recommendation would be anybody that has the city sales and use tax, use the city sales and use tax for what the taxing document said it was to be for. We can't keep shifting it back and forth just to play the game. Well, you know, we'll over here, well, move it over there. No, if it belongs in the city sales and use tax, then that's how you permanently leave it there and budget for it. That would include all of the repairs and maintenance to your playground equipment and, but the two items that are not in this, which I really think should be, are insurances. The insurance on, and the only insurance for building that you have is the pavilion. So that's a cost to maintain and have that there. If we did that, that would add another 20-something thousand to it. We could generate another, a nice surplus. And don't think of it as, well, we're giving up that money. No, you're not. You're just not dipping into it. You're helping build back the amount that needs to be driving the contingency. You're not using that money that the city sales and use tax is saying, and that tax goes back in to help stabilize the city's general fund unrestricted balance. So that's what your budget for what you don't control would end up being before the serious discussions on how much money should be actually apportioned to you. So when we go back to the general fund, moving a percentage between fire department, police, or parks, or animal services, or planning because they need more, or they don't need as much, see, they're already a surplus, so we'll take a percentage from them and give it to parks, you're really not affecting this bottom number here. All you're doing is moving it between two cost centers within the general fund. So while it makes a cost center look good, it's not serving a purpose other than making a cost center look good. So we have to really attack these numbers, and there's consideration for this number right now. They went back to the drawing board, and I'm in the process of implementing some of their changes. But like I said, if you go with the philosophy, you don't ask, you don't get, we really need to be more responsible with these numbers. It's gonna be hard. Everybody's gonna have to look at it. So with the changes pending city sales and use tax restatement, I've restated the fire department already, moving what I think should go over there. I have not presented it to them yet, but that would generate 24,000. You guys are small players. This is the big player in where we need to be. So I could generate 24,000 there, 8,000, maybe even 30,000 on your side, which will drop another, that might be 925,000 when we're all done. But that number that's sitting there is the number that has to go here in order to balance the budget. Because anything right now that you would come up with short of $157,000 would drop us below $1 million. So if I added the 157 to this number, we would be down to 700, just shy of $800,000. That's what their surplus would have to be on the general side, or these people are gonna have to start making some changes.
So this seems like a no-brainer. I mean,
Yeah. Sounds like it's the only choice.
That's all you guys can do. You're healthy if we do that, and then you pick up that 115,000, your city sales and use tax is much healthier. Because you're setting that at $250,000. You don't want that to drop below $250,000, 250,000. You will be well over 350 almost in that city sales and use tax, even with your budget. So you can bear that over, is what I'm saying. And it probably would even get better once because we're making a $40,000 transfer to the capital, to your principal on your loan. So you'll be paying that off quicker, and that'll help your city sales and use tax get a little more healthy.
Yeah.
One of the bad news I wanted to share with you is I just got that new program, the cost associated with that iWorks.
Tech Connect.
the
Tech
credit card
Connect.
thing?
Well, I just got what your cost would be. It'd be, unfortunately, it'd be $5,000. And where is that budgeted? That's for software to do or coordinate your reserving on the,
Computers and IT.
so that's where that would go.
Or is it service contract? Service contract? No? Okay.
I was debating either one.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it in either one. So this would be in your budget.
That's not what I was, that's not the number I was given initially.
It was a lot cheaper before when.
It was like half of that.
Okay, well, did you see this? This just came to me today.
It was sent to a bunch, and I thought Casey was included on the email. It was earlier today from Hunter.
I was talking to Ken again about it.
It's $4,944 for 26, 27 it'll be the same, 28 it'll be the same, 29 it drops to $42.50.
Yeah, I think I was Ken of that.
Okay, and he even breaks down what, it's like a smorgasbord of things.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's not in your budget.
The current software is.
And you'd be getting rid of that.
Yeah, we canceled that and replaced it with the other, which I originally thought was $39 cheaper than it's really $39 we get currently paying.
Okay, this is parks, and this is your, so. What is it?
60510,
Comes out of 15.
computers and IT expense.
Oh, I'm pretending like you see what I'm looking at,
Oh,
and I.
it didn't go back.
Went back.
Look at the screen, but it's not a bit.
I know. I see what you're saying. Where is it?
It should have carried over from last year.
Yeah, it's not in, that's your current budget.
But it's 239 times 12.
Sounds like what we were just saving on Brightspeed.
Pretty much.
How ironic.
So let's go back and tear through this budget. and see what we got.
So much for that $2,900 savings.
I don't see it in there. I was gonna go and make years. So theoretically, that 19 does not include any old or new. But we'll fix it. So that's kind of what I was looking at doing. I was looking at doing the shifting so that these numbers would be better. I just wanted you to see again that
At the last meeting or one of our meetings, you talked about a plan in case we had a tornado come through and everything like
that's your
that.
contingency.
That's the contingency. Is that part of that 200, 300,000 that we haven't set? Or do we need to be sitting at, maybe not this year, but maybe in the years to come, setting around 10,000 this year, 10,000 next year, just to kind of build that in case?
I'm gonna present a plan for contingency. There's two routes of thinking. One is the departments do their own. The problem with that is if you had major catastrophe, let's say you've only tucked away 200,000, and the council would control that because they wanna make sure you don't spend it on, well, a pet project. It's gotta be for contingencies based on the ordinance's stipulations. And you had a $300,000 need, where do you get it? So if you put it all together and let the larger expenditures help build that up, you could pool the money, and this would be a pooled approach, what you see up there now. That would be a pooled approach to it. And then you could get 300,000 out of that because you're pulling out of the pool if it only affected you. And if that were the case, then you are responsible to put that back. So whatever you take out, you're having to have a funding plan for it. Say, how many years are you gonna take, and then you'd literally have to budget a payment back to the contingency fund. And what I would do is I would take that million, and I would isolate it to a contingency fund so that you wouldn't see it. It would be controlled by the city council, and you would dip into it when they say you can dip into it. And all the departments would do that way. So that's a second way of looking at it. And it's all gonna be how, what their pleasure is and how we word that ordinance, because it has to be established by ordinance. So it just doesn't go away because you want a new truck or something.
We used to have money in reserves until that lawsuit. Took millions from us. Oh, it was awful. And then we had to pay out over 15 years.
What we don't have here, and what I also want to do, right now, we're not at the point where I think we can do it. I'd be strung up in the town square. But we need to have funded depreciation. We don't have that. So the minute you buy a large piece of equipment, like a tractor, backhoe, or whatever you might need, or a big mower or something, truck, whatever, we should immediately do the depreciation impact over the useful life of that and start tucking away that funded depreciation from your budget. So that when it comes time to replace it, you already had the money. So I call it a replacement reserve, but most people have heard the term funded depreciation, which is what it is. Now, water sewer's doing that because that was forced upon them when we set their rates. So, but they have the ability to generate their own revenue, whereas you would price your pavilion way out of, no one would rent it.
Yeah.
If you needed to cover a loss, yeah.
So do we need a vote on moving the money over, like you talked about?
No, I'm
No.
gonna do it now that I have I just discussed it with you, so that you'll see the impact when we do it after we present you the final for you to approve, because then it'll be in your budget, and you'll approve that. And when that happens, then that'll be for you to then present to the council when we do our budget study sessions.
Great.
And we'll see what you've done. But I think doing that would be really healthy, the right thing to do. You're generating a surplus, you're not dipping into their funds anymore. And when you approve that, you'll approve it as a permanent move and not something that's willy-nilly moved back and forth. Because some of those costs, like your mowing contract, have gone back and forth and back and forth. Is it here, is it there, it's moved? That's not how that should work.
Did you say that you wanted to meet with Tom and go through all of our expenditures? Just to make sure that there's not something sneaking around there, because that happens. I'm just telling you. All right.
That would be pretty easy, because we don't have a lot.
Yours is pretty quick.
Is there anything else about the budget that you would like to present or talk about? You're good? Do we have any questions? Any comments about this or anything like that? So for clarification, just to make sure that I am fully aware, next budget session or next council meeting or next parks meeting, you'll have us a new budget that has kind of the new scenario involved.
That would be in November. If we get it done earlier, it'd be up to you as to whether you wanted to have a special meeting to do the budget review and approval.
Okay?
We could do that so that we could get you onto a city council budget review.
So,
November 18th is the next Parks Commission meeting, so, just so you know.
I mean, it's fine to wait till then. I don't have a problem with that.
what is the opinion of the committee? Wait till the next meeting or do we need to have another budget session?
You can make that decision
Yeah.
when we're done.
Okay, when you're done, you'll send it out and then we can just kind of all vote on that way?
Let's pencil it in for the next.
Yeah.
You want me to put it on the next agenda?
Yep.
Okay.
That's perfect.
All right. All right. Any other questions or concerns? All right. Foundation reports,
No report.
director's reports. not closed. I thought we were gonna close it off. No,
No, we left it open.
It's been
I
so
would
hot.
leave it open as long as the weather was nice.
but I thought we had a more definite date.
No.
No, we've kept it up. Well, that makes me feel better, because when I walk up there, I see water dripping out of the.
Yeah, we
And I
started
believe-
addressing that today.
Also, while I'm thinking about it, there is water that's coming out at the bottom of the hill and goes down that thing. Is that us? That's something else?
Well, I guess it is us. Technically, it's groundwater.
That's groundwater.
And
Okay.
it's just gonna be a continual thing. Whenever they started the excavation for that project, they dug like an insane amount and just started ripping giant boulders out of the ground. The first thing they put on the ground were French drains, more or less, gigantic French drains, and there's 4 of them under there. They all divert into that one outlet where you see that water coming out.
Okay.
So there will always, what the water's doing is it's coming down the hill, leaching in the ground, and then it's hitting rock, and then it's hitting those French drains and running into that outlet.
Well, that makes me feel better, because I thought we had.
So
a leak.
we're not losing one drop of our water, city water.
Just
Hard to say
evaporation.
One drop, but, yeah, within,
Yeah, I
it's
understand.
minimal.
It kind of makes it hard for the future, though, if there is a leak, huh? It'll be like, well, is that groundwater?
Well, you can always go test the water. If the water has like a ton of chlorine in it, you have a pretty good idea that it's coming from the splash pad. Otherwise, they would have like next to no chlorine.
Are you, on that Fox Run Road, where you've gotta leave that open for that guy to get to his house?
Right.
Are you gonna block that other part to get on up into the parking lot of the,
So the idea is to put some signage on the entrance of the road, just to let people know that the splash pad is closed, so that they don't waste a trip all the way up. And then, of course, we'll put a sign in the middle of the entryway, possibly with, some type of barriers crossing the parking lot. And then we'll lock all of the gates at the splash pad too, so that
Right.
nobody can get in there and horse around.
but you'll have, the driver will have access to the parking lot of the splash pad if you don't seal that. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just thinking about, kids. I'm still a teacher. That they'll find a place to hide.
Well, I would rather them not have access to the parking lot. The idea was that we would put some barricading.
Yeah, that's
there
what
so that
that's what
they
I'm
would-
basically asking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, it would just, the barricades would basically keep the honest folks
Yeah,
honest,
yeah.
put an obstacle in the way more or
Wait,
less.
one question, Casey. I think when I drove up there just recently, I noticed that on that side road, the original road that goes to the house, there's an area there that's got a wash. Is there potentially a culvert gonna be put in there or not?
Are you talking,
Right where you turn off onto that
oh,
dirt
gotcha.
road, right
Uh,
there,
yeah.
the water's coming over it.
We're working with the street department to have a culvert
Okay.
or some type of tile put in there.
I'm sure there's enough water there, it's gonna have to, or it's gonna be chronic, and that guy's not gonna be able to.
It's gonna circle
Get to his
around
house.
eventually. I would like to have that done before Fall Fest, because that's gonna be one of our
Alternate.
exits. So I'm going to ask Jeff to see if the street department will be able to smooth the gravel portion up to where they'll be able to get on and do that small piece.
That'll work.
We just talked about the trail from the Oaks to Vale Park. I was not aware that they were gonna be here, so I was not prepared for the information they were bringing.
I was gonna say, nor were they.
Yeah.
Since you brought it up,
Yeah.
$1.6 million is not in our budget,
Oh, I know, I'm aware.
ever.
I also did not know that's how expensive it was.
Do we have another option? I mean, are we like in bed with them? Do we have to go?
I would think about the money that we've spent with them doing the engineering and stuff with that. I would think that would be cost. That's already cost that we've already accumulated with that.
Yeah, do we know how much we spent to date with all this?
But you
Plus
own the
30,000.
engineer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You own the engineer.
So we could bid,
Exactly.
we could
Yeah,
bid
we
it
can
off
take
of his
that to someone
plans.
else.
Good.
I would like to come with other options,
Oh, yeah.
if possible.
Oh, yeah.
I could tell.
We're
You
talking,
know.
Yeah, I was,
Mhm.
But if it is that we just have to go gravel for a while, I don't know. But 1.6 million was a little bit of a shocker.
Same. Yeah, I mean, we have the foundation laid for them, it's just a matter of them coming to put asphalt on top. The whole project started changing after Elliot left. Elliot was my main point of contact there. He, got a different job with another firm. And everything started changing after he left. So they're doing a great job, they're doing what they're supposed to, but some of the cost centers have been what's changed primarily.
So we're talking 20% of that 1.6 million, right? Our part.
No.
No.
No, 1.6 is what they wanna do it, and we have,
375
Yeah, less than
plus 75,000,
a third of it.
375.
RDOT, we're trying to get the rest out of RDOT.
we're not gonna get the rest out of our, we won't even cover a third of the project.
But the big problem is we don't even know if we can at this
Yeah,
point
with
with the
the
home
easement.
saying no. I mean, is the trail even technically supposed to be open right now with that? 'Cause, I mean, I don't know if the rest of us know that old man spent the night out there because he wrecked on that trail. So
That's why that's,
Wait, what?
Was
Yeah.
he driving a motorcycle?
he was like on an electric scooter. I mean, it was on something that shouldn't have been on that trail,
Okay.
but he wrecked at some point and they found him the next morning. So
Just like a citizen was out there?
yeah, so we need to figure out who actually owns this trail and maintain it, because that could come back and bite us in the ass if it's rutted out like it is.
Or-
it's been fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
And-
keep up on it.
I mean,
but-
if nothing else, we need to put signs at,
No
at
motorized.
the, yeah, no motorized,
Yeah.
no bikes.
I think there is signage. Well, I guess at the trailhead, but if
There's
you
not
don't
at
start at
the-
the trailhead,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, somebody's trying to get in. Casey or Ashley, I don't know.
It's Mike McAllister. You can,
it really?
yeah,
Yeah.
you
We'll
can
go,
catch
yeah.
him. Or,
Yeah, yeah, get him.
Move to adjourn. That's the,
oh, he actually just texted me. I didn't see it.
He did show.
is he supposed to be here?
We invited him, but
Oh, did you?
A&P representation.
he was going to talk to us, but I guess he's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, Inclusive Park, very positive news for Inclusive Park. We have actually been invited to present for the state, Office of Outdoor Recreation grant. It's a 50/50 matching grant, and it's $250,000 max. Right now, the way the park stands, or as it stands currently, we're 98% funded. And I'm hoping that after a board meeting tonight, that we're able to be 100% funded.
So how much is the actual 2% of it, roughly?
Of 478,000.
Okay. 11.
Awesome.
We do have opportunity to order equipment before the end of the year, which I'm being strongly urged to do. There are always
Price
price
hikes.
increases, before the first of the year, and it costs us nothing to order equipment.
Do we have to store it or anything? Or we just
No,
order it and
they'll
they
store it.
wait it till
We
we.
order it, and then, basically say we will not accept delivery until X date. The only tricky thing, and then, I know me and Tom have talked about this, it was probably a year and a half ago though. Farmers Bank, the way they do their large donations is they'll commit to $100,000, but they give you 10,000 every 10 years. So we have $100,000 pledged, but.
Every year for 10 years. Not every 10 years. Okay.
We or the city would be on the hook for $90,000 after next year if we pursue construction.
But if we get this grant,
If we get this grant, then we don't need farmers necessarily.
I mean, they'd still give it to us, but,
Sure.
yeah. There you go. Put it away. Put it away. Great.
So something to think about, we have $100,000 pledged, but in 2026, we would only receive
10,000
10,000.
of it.
I think a year and a half ago, we were okay with saying, or the potential was higher that the general fund could just fund 90,000 and be repaid over the course of 9 years.
Mm.
Now things are a little more slim.
When will you hear about this grant?
Typically, it's around the first of the year that they get back to you.
I do want to acknowledge that the A&P Commission gave them $4,000 over into the Inclusive Park Fund account. The last meeting they had. They really do try to put their leftovers in there.
It's great.
They do have a heart.
Update on Fall Fest, we actually have 83 vendors this year. So those will be the arts and crafts or tent vendors, and then 12 food trucks. I have inflatables secured. I talked to Stuart today at the fire department, police department will be there. And I think I have most everything in line to be set up for that specific day.
Thank you for promoting the tree giveaway, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good deal.
The dates of the fall festival is, yep. And so you're in a better spot with the Halloween trail being moved, yes?
Yes. Yes.
We're good with making sure that that is access, handicap access.
Yes.
We're good, we don't have to do anything on that.
No.
I know
I
that
think there was
Mrs.
some confusion surrounding where we were letting people out at.
Gotcha, gotcha. I know that Mrs. Dixon is working on making some jack-o'-lanterns
Nice.
that have lights that we can kind of go along that. I know that we're gonna post things on the sides
Barricades,
and
yeah.
make it a little bit more,
Festive.
yes, festive on that. So we're doing that.
Cool.
So, but everything for the the Halloween trail. Only thing that I'm concerned about is the rain that may be coming in this weekend.
Oh, if
Can we
it'll be muddy.
Can we make sure that under the bridge and everything is cleaned out if mud or anything comes in?
You know how it washes out.
You won't, for the Halloween trail?
Yes.
You won't go under a bridge?
Once you put it
Yeah.
over here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, yeah, so just make sure, just because,
Yep.
I don't know, we're moving the football game. I know.
Yeah, yeah.
So what about some signs for the upcoming tax vote? Can we put some, are we allowed to do that? I mean,
Well, that's what I was gonna ask Charlotte about. Bobby had the idea to, so my thing, I do have a little bit of extra space to where I could like actually set up a booth, call it the information booth, where people can get packets and check in and stuff. But also have some kind of signage there. Bobby wanted to, or he had the idea to post up some of the things that we spent some sales and use tax money on.
I think we can.
What money can I spend on that?
The city money spending on it is hard.
Yeah.
Yep, the
Get
city
that.
supposedly is not supposed to spend its money to promote the tax. So that's why we get a group together, so if he wants to get hold of Bob Purvis, he's got a campaign going of private individuals that can pay for that. That he could probably ask him to do that.
okay.
Oh, yeah, Michelle, that's what
Any questions?
Is the time gonna be involved in this, Fall Fest, or time change?
It's the day after. Our Fall Fest will be on
Okay.
Saturday, time
We'll have
change
a
will be on
long
Sunday.
afternoon. Well, whatever they, long as.
But that time change is coming.
Thank you.
Ask, I don't know. Do we need to add it to the agenda, the discussion of A&P? I don't even know where it's at. I can't remember where it left off. Mike, do you remember? Kind of what was your intention when you came?
I'm just here to speak for the commission, kind of what they're thinking.
Can we add it to the agenda?
Yeah,
I think we can. There's nothing
If you're
preventing it.
voting on something, you can just vote under comments.
We'll just do it on comments.
Under comment, can we ask questions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The next thing will be under, our next thing is comments. Would you like to come to the microphone?
I can.
All right.
I don't even know if that thing's on.
No, don't know, I'm Michael Cal, chairman of AMP, and I apologize, Kyle, look, I just stepped out of work, so.
And I asked him to come to our committee because at their A&P committee, they have made a suggestion, and I wanted everybody to hear from their side what they're feeling and everything, and so that we can all be on the same page.
The commission is wanting to propose, still getting your money, they want to put it into a separate account, and y'all will have a grant application for any items that you want, say the Freedom Fest, you'll come to the A&P commission, just like, we used to do it like that in the old days. And then, whatever money we grant you comes out of that certain account, so you're not losing any money, but it's a little more trouble over here, because he's gonna have to fill out a grant application every time. That's just where they're at. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm not a voting member, I'm just a commissioner, so.
You say that's the way it was
Used to be like that, yes, sir.
before you give us this big chunk.
Yes, and then we started doing it,
Percent.
some stuff happened, that lost accountability, so they went back to it, and then it got jumped, it's been back and forth.
So just to clarify, it really wasn't just used to be like that, sorry, the Freedom Fest only.
Correct.
We would hold money back to make sure we could pay for Freedom Fest. Kept track of that throughout the year so that we made sure that 50 grand or 40 grand or whatever it was, 35 grand, was sitting there available for them by the time Freedom Fest came around.
When you-
But what I understand is the way you're wanting to do it is sort of treat it like that,
Yes.
but 45% going in there all the
It goes
time.
into the same amount of money, yes.
My concern, and I wanna see, what if we do something that the committee doesn't like? Does that money get held back, that y'all do
If
not
they don't-
have?
If they don't feel
For
that it's-
example, we wanna do a half a day Freedom Festival, and the committee doesn't feel they want a full day. Would the committee have that?
No, they've got no control over that.
Okay,
The control
so,
they have is how much money, if we look at the dollar amount and where it's going,
uh-huh,
if it's promoting Greenwood, we usually always pass it.
okay,
If it's not, if it's, buying a load of dirt, it's usually something we really don't want to spend the money on.
well, on that, to that point, I know that you give us our money and that we spend it, but my opinion, and I'm not trying to shoot the messenger or anything like that, things that we've used for in the past, I know that there was concern about rocks that were bought, or something, gravel or something for our disc golf program. That was a concern that if I remember was brought up, correct?
I don't remember that, but it's okay.
Okay, it was something,
Okay.
it was something like that. But if it were using it in the Parks Department
And if
to
you can explain it,
to
that'd be fine.
promote
yes.
it, but we Ms. Casey has sent us a budget of what we sent you about what we've spent our money on. Is that not doing the same thing that you're asking?
I think they want more control. Once we give the money to you, we lose control.
Yes.
So if someone asked commission, you gave them $50,000 last year, do y'all even know where that money went? We can't say we don't know where that went.
But we're
Then
sending,
you have to go to the parks.
then we send you, but if we send you what we're going to,
I
what we
can
spend it-
propose whatever y'all want, I can propose it to the commission
Mhm.
and see what they think. Y'all make a proposal,
Okay,
What about that suggestion I had to always code whatever Parks is spending AMP on as a project, so you'd always know. They're not spending money unless you can see the project.
By
Is that
law,
not a
you
good-
can- By law, you can spend the money on anything you want.
yeah.
When
That
the
still
money goes
doesn't
into the
feel-
parks,
Yeah.
you can buy baby diapers, it doesn't matter. By law, you're legal to buy anything with it.
And
Yeah.
I think in all fairness, it's really, I mean, if it's the same form that I filled out, it's really not a big deal. It's just a paper trail. Casey's already giving us this detail, like, we're spending this on this. I mean, for the Freedom
Yes,
Fest Committee,
yeah.
I mean, it's just relaying
The only
that.
problem I see it on y'all's part is your budgeting.
Yeah.
We really don't have the money, the money's there, but we're not 100% sure we're gonna get it all.
Mhm.
That's the only part I can see on your part that probably kind of tough.
Right.
I think my concern, Mike, and I've said this to you personally, it's my understanding that AMP commissions were set up initially by the state and all of the laws passed about them. And at that time, it was understood that appropriately, monies could go to parks for anything. Parks are something that AMP can give monies to. And we can spend them for dirt if we need the dirt for parks. I mean, parks is something that promotes the community and brings people into the community all the time. Not just a one-day event. I mean, that brings people in all the time. In my mind, that's something AMP should be happily endorsing and promoting and funding. Not delegating, this has to go to Freedom Fest, this has to go to this particular scout project. You can only spend it for this part of the project, but you can't spend it for this part of the project. I just have a real problem with it as to how it's being approached.
I think it's just the accountability is what they,
And I think my definition of accountability is a lot different than yours, because I feel like we have been accountable for
what.
what.
Was the Freedom Fest fiasco, you know, we didn't have any idea that the Freedom Fest was cut in half. Nobody said a word, I mean, until we heard through the grapevine on Facebook or something, so that really kind of bit everybody. Well, you know, geez, they ain't got the nerve to come tell us, hey, we're cutting the Freedom Fest short for this, and this reason. That kind of put a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
And that's
You
an
know, I mean,
apology.
it was a big secret, and you know, and that kind of, we thought
Sorry,
we should
that's-
have been we should have been part of that, seeing that.
We did not mean it in that way, in
No, I
any way,
don't,
form,
it was
or
never
fashion.
intended to be
I
a
know,
secret
that's
in
just
any
not the
way.
way
And it-
Uh,
we were just trying to live within our budget. And you have to live within a budget and everything and stuff like that. So that was not the intention, and we apologize if that's the taste that y'all have. But I also want you to know, we're not trying to gyp
No, we.
the
no,
AMP.
no.
Well, I just want you to make sure that you know that we're not trying to gyp the AMP, that when we do spend money, I know that that it was brought up, that someone brought up that talked about, that we bought paintbrushes and stuff like that. I asked Casey about it, and it was for a Boy Scout project. If I remember correctly, it was for Stuart Bryant's son, Ben, project. So that was part of that. And they have built those kiosks and everything up there, which is really great, because when I'm up there walking in the mornings, you see those, or even in the afternoons, you see those people playing that disc golf and everything like that. So
Yeah, but
that is,
Luke's itemized list, you don't see none of that. All you see is paintbrushes, and you think, well, geez, why are they buying paintbrushes, you know? when
so
they
what
should be
you want us
buying-
to say is paintbrushes for Boy Scout project.
I mean, yeah, that way we could, yeah.
Okay, so we could add that to our things and stuff like that. That's not a big deal. But
I mean, they just wanna kind of see where the money's going. If it's going for dirt, hey, we bought a load of dirt for the disc golf, you know, we're filling hose in disc golf. Okay, I mean,
And also, it's just like when I think it was Sammy who brought it up, that what we spent on Freedom Fest this past year is probably gonna cost us more next year, just because the economy and everything just keeps going up. So it's hard for us to budget if we have to.
So,
I mean, if y'all just got something, you know, want me to propose to them, I'll be happy to,
If-
something.
if we provide you with our 2026 budget ahead of time and say, here's what we propose spending this money for from AMP, is that,
Okay.
Do you think that would cover,
I mean-
you would tell us like that, and we would have Casey would be glad, I'm speaking to you for Casey, that we, like every 2 months, this is what the AMP money has been spent for. And if you want us to put paintbrush for Boys and Scouts projects, that's
I
what it.
don't see why that would be a problem.
Okay, and that way, y'all will be able to keep accountability, and if y'all have any questions, you're always welcome to call on us or come and see us or whatever. The Parks Department wants to promote Greenwood just as much as the AMP, because we have the splash pad, which thank you for helping with that. You know, that's bringing a lot of people in.
That $4,000 was kind of a mess up on the sign people.
Mm-hmm.
And,
They shortchanged, they paid too much or something, and we just spent the money on over.
and in the new park that we're building,
You're going to?
But that was for the inclusive park, not the splash pad.
yeah, but
Oh, I'm
this is,
sorry. Yeah.
this is a park, yes, and thank you for helping with that, y'all throwing all the money that you can on that, because I think that's going to bring people into it, you know.
Bring a lot of.
And I hope that, I think we feel like every time we do a Freedom Fest fall, Christmas, that we are promoting and saying thank you to the A&P Commission and everything like that. I just want you to know that we're here to support Greenwood just as much as you are. But we also want to have the freedom within our budget. But we want you to be comfortable with it too. Okay?
I mean, yeah, if y'all put together an item, I'll bring that up at our next meeting, and if everybody's fine with it, I mean.
We should have our budget probably set by November and everything, and we can have that if you would like to see that, and that may be what would be needed.
Their next meeting's not until December the
Yeah. So,
5th or whatever it is.
and we want to thank you for everything that y'all do, you know, because I know that Jolynn is excited about the Halloween candy trail and all that stuff, and that's going to bring in a ton of people and stuff like that. So,
And thank you for coming.
yes,
I'm
thank
sorry
you.
I'm late. I was-
No,
Matter of fact, I had on my calendar Friday.
You're a busy guy.
we appreciate you coming, and,
No problem. Anything else, y'all just,
and,
Charles got my number, just call me.
all right, but if you have any questions for us, we're always here, we're always available, and we will be glad to answer. If you have a question, why did y'all spend it on that? We'll be glad to try to explain it to you,
Okay.
all right?
That would help.
I mean, I'm a liaison. I can ask for you even.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm in both commissions ex
So-
officio.
But we do appreciate you, and we do appreciate the A&P committee and all the things that y'all are doing for the city of Greenwood and everything. Did anybody have any other questions or comments? Thank you, sir, we do appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike.
You can get out on your own. You just can't get in.
I'll sit through the rest of
Oh, okay.
All right. Do I have any other comments?
I do have one.
All right.
Just an update on the pavilion conversation from earlier. I looked in the minutes while we were doing, y'all all think I'm playing on my phone all the time, but I'm usually reading minutes. Anyway, the pavilion was said at the August 2011 council meeting by Michael LeJong that it was complete, substantially complete. That is done. August of 2011.
Oh, so before the commission was
Yes,
in.
the commission wasn't established until 2015. I mean, 12. And then Doug Kinslow, of course, the park director. Dell Gabbard was the mayor. Wilma Jo Cabe was the city clerk. Mike Hamby was the city attorney. And it was Rod Powell, Lee Johnson, A.C. Brown, Tim Terry, Lance Terry, and Jim Gossett that were the council members. And I just wanted you to have that information because it was fuzzy
That's
earlier.
good. Who's gonna be on the plaque?
Yeah.
Well, just so that he doesn't have to do a whole lot of weird digging, that's in there. You're welcome.
Was there a Parks Committee at the time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
There
were
was.
on that, were we?
And then,
We on that?
I was on it, I think,
I
but I
wasn't.
don't know.
yeah, so, you know, I asked the mayor if he would like to, I texted him and asked him if he would like to get on the phone and talk to y'all on here during the meeting. But he just landed in Virginia, so, you know, and I did tell him an update on kind of how that panned out, and so, yeah. So him and Tom could duke it out, or I guess. with
There you
Ross.
Tom, and I know I'm just asking the question. If we make the changes that we have to the budget, would we be able to find $3,000 to do that if we did that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm not saying that we're going to do it, I'm just wanted to know if that was a possibility.
Yeah, you'd reduce your surplus that would be generated, but you'd still have a surplus.
Okay.
As long as you have a surplus.
How much of a surplus?
Well, that's gonna depend on whether I move insurances over or not.
Okay,
So if we did, your surplus would be about 30 grand.
okay. All right.
Don't think of other ways to use it.
No.
I know.
All right. Is there any other comments?
So this LeJohn thing,
Yes.
is there any closure gonna happen to this? I know they originally, Tammy originally proposed a $40,000 to $50,000.
For the sign?
Oh, yeah. You know where all that gravel is? They got quite a sign designed somewhere, I don't know what
Yeah,
it's
it was a
at.
big one,
But it was
Fancy.
40 to 50,000. And we
It was,
kinda balked on that.
Similar style to the entrance sign, I think.
Yeah.
To the city.
So what I'm trying to say is that $2,000 that we have, that's not gonna amount to a hill of beans.
Is there anything that,
Can we move the money? Can we spend it for the pavilion on the Ed Wilkerson building?
It was donated
No,
for a
it's
purpose.
donated money.
is there,
Donation
So-
for the Michael LeJean sign.
Signage.
yeah.
If
Can we
it's-
do, can we do a plaque instead of a sign?
It's not what they donated the money
Money
for.
for, okay.
So let's,
Do a different
unless we
kind of
raise
sign.
$35,000, $40,000, we're not gonna ever have one?
Pardon?
Unless we raise $40,000, we're never gonna have one?
We're gonna have a
I don't think it has to be,
That'd have to be a $40,000.
I don't, I mean, after talking to Travis on too, that's not really what Michael would want.
I'll say, being a friend
Oh,
of
no.
Michael, that's not what he would
No,
want
that's
either,
not what
but
Michael would know. That's what Tammy wanted.
Could we put that kind of in a, start thinking about it, a sign possibly?
Okay,
It may
back
not
on
be,
mine.
it may
That's
not
something-
be this year,
Yeah.
but something that we can start.
Yeah.
Well, at least we need to
I've got
spend it.
something kind of starting around
And
what I think his style is.
Yeah,
It's
that'd be
century
good.
modern,
The style,
Art
you know.
Deco kind of deal.
Yes,
Yes.
he liked that.
so, yeah,
That'll work. At least we'll get that fixed, finally.
are there any other comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
second.
All right.
Good
to see you.
Everybody said yay and aye.
Yay, yes.